Raging Bull, a fan favorite at Six Flags Great America, considered by a large chunk of the coaster community to be the worst B&M hyper, was B&M's second hypercoaster. B&M hypers are known for their out-and-back layouts with graceful hills that provide that iconic B&M floater airtime. Today, we are going to take an in-depth look at B&M's only hyper twister coaster and what sets it apart from the other B&M hypers. Hello guys, this is Airtime Life bringing you a review of the first B&M Hyper Twister Coaster, Raging Bull. First, let's take a look at the stats. Raging Bull stands at 202 feet with a 208-foot drop into a tunnel that has a 65-degree angle of descent. Its max speed of 73 miles per hour is reached at the bottom of the first drop. Raging Bull is just under a mile long with 5,057 feet of track, which gives it around 2.5 minutes of ride time. This puts it right in the middle of the B&M Hypers for track length. Raging Bull was built in 1999 at Six Flags Great America in Gurnee, Illinois, and gave its first rides on May 1st. Raging Bull is the orange and red elephant in the room of all the B&M Hypers for two reasons. One, it has a feature that is only shared with the only B&M Hyper that came before it, Apollo's Chariot. When B&M started making coasters, one of their iconic elements was the pre-drop. This was a little dip at the top of the lift hill before the main drop that was meant to take stress off the chain. They used this feature on their first two B&M Hypers, Apollo's Chariot and Raging Bull. The pre-drop is actually a pro because it gains the car's speed before it goes down the main drop, and that makes the drop a whole lot better. This does make sense because the coasters with pre-drop sections, a lot of them are some of the best on Earth, such as Hakuge and Nagashima Spa Land and El Toro at Six Flags Great Adventure. The second reason that it is a huge difference from all the other hyper coasters is that it's a hyper twister coaster. This means that its layout is a twister layout instead of the classic out and back layout of most B&M hypers. Raging Bull starts off with a 180-degree bank turn out of the station onto the lift hill. There is a chain lift, so it is relatively slow. It takes around 50 seconds to get to the top, but that gives you a good amount of time to admire the amazing view of Great America's coaster collection. At the top of the lift hill, you enter the pre-drop section. In the front row, you make a slow dip into it and slowly go towards the drop. But in the back row, you get completely yanked over the pre-drop section and into the drop. In the front seat, the drop is great. It provides some great sustained floater air. But in the back seat, that extra speed you gain catapults you 208 feet to the ground. A backseat Raging Bull ride provides insane sustained ejector all the way down the drop. You drop into a tunnel and pull some very good positive G's. And then you fly into a 180-degree turnaround and then into a trimmed hill, which has some great sustained floater airtime that B&M Hypers provide. After that, you go into a turnaround, followed by a 270-degree turnaround. These are decent elements, but they don't pull much G's. Then you make a right-hand turn into the mid-course brake run. This ends the first half of the ride. The second half starts off with a bang as you are thrown into a drop after the mid-course, which provides some awesome ejector air. Next, you fly into another hill, smaller than the first, but it provides even better airtime. Next, you pop up into a 270-degree helix, which provides a small pop of airtime coming out of it. After hitting another trim brake, you enter an S-curve, followed by another helix. Then you finish off the ride with a 180-degree turn into the station. Overall, Raging Bull is a very unique layout, with the first half of the ride consisting of tall, drawn-out elements, and the second half being made up of rapid-fire turns and small hills. Do I prefer the second half or the first half? I prefer the second half because it pulls more G's than the first half. Now the question, is Raging Bull the worst B&M hyper? My answer is no. I don't think it's fair to bash on it for what it doesn't have compared to the other B&M hypers because it's such a different ride compared to them. For Raging Bull's final score out of 10, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. It may not have as much airtime as the other B&M hypers, but the airtime it does have is insane. The reason it's not getting a 10 is because the first half of the ride, the turnarounds aren't very forceful, and they're very drawn out and rather boring. Other than that, it's a very well-rounded ride that is one of my favorites at Great America. For this final section of my reviews, I'm going to tell you what mindset you should have coming in to go ride the ride to enjoy it the most. For Raging Bull, you should come in with the mindset that it's not going to be all airtime, and that it's going to be a very unique ride compared to the other B&M hypers. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I hope that you can take some time to like, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram. Finally, A huge shout out to Airtime Productions. He's the one who provided the footage for this video. Go check out his YouTube channel for some awesome content. I'll put a link for his channel and the footage I used in the description, and I hope you have an awesome day.